The imposing height of the Kadar and the horns of the Olumi are traits that tend to intimidate the Westerners of Kurin. The East is a mysterious land, and its inhabitants have often had trouble integrating with other human beings. However, deep within Tengethar, there exists a tribe that rarely wishes to integrate with its own kind, or is very selective in its attempts to do so. They are the Iyudi, the hidden people, and they too possess striking characteristics. First, their complexions are pale due to their life in the coldest and darkest regions of the globe, and most have freckles and intensely red hair. In fact, redheads are not a rarity on Kurin, as they are on Earth. Others have lighter hair, and some even reach sandy tones. They mostly have broad faces and full, noble features, with large, almond-shaped eyes and golden irises that, curiously, turn a deep violet blue in the winter months. The Iyudi possess excellent vision and generally keen senses, complemented by almost animalistic reflexes. Furthermore, they are short by human standards. The tallest among them reach only 1.4 meters, and they have proportionally long and large limbs and hands for their physiques, with agile fingers and elastic bodies. Some Westerners treat the Iyudi with distrust. One reason is their appearance, coupled with their generally timid nature and swift movements reminiscent of birds or rodents on alert. The Iyudi were the last tribe reached by the Taolin Empire, and, consequently, the least affected by modern warfare. Furthermore, the violet-clad people are expert in subterfuge and survival, except for Iyudi traders who throughout history have exchanged goods with the Kadar, Olumi and Varlen, and a few adventurers, missionaries, or priests. Most of the population remains reserved. This furtive nature may have another explanation besides their adaptation to one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. You see, the Iyudi are a people who live in close contact with their gods. These gods are not only very real, but also tangible. At this point, we must explore something of their culture and worldview. As children of the Olumi, the Iyudi are animists. Beasts and elements possess a spirit and personality. Those most present or powerful even have a name, and the Iyudi have hundreds of stories about them, portraying them as protective friends or vengeful judges. The most important are the totems, immortal spirits like Bolivka, the laughing wolf, and Okun, the crooked old man. When the Varlen Shermi descended centuries ago in long warships upon Tengethar, they were astonished by these wooden or stone monoliths, depicting the guardian gods of the little children of the cold, and even more so when they recognized some of these spirits as the faces of certain predecessors. The Babylins always offer explanations for this phenomena. Either the Varlen had made previous expeditions to these regions, or both tribes had witnessed the same ancient beings. In one way or another, the Iyudi attend to their totems through the rites and sacrifices of the red priests, and they are rewarded. While the Usul in the south prostrates themselves in prayer before their invisible god, the Violet tribe is periodically visited by theirs. The challenge lies in understanding their language and their shifting moods, but the reward is immense. However, not all Iyudi worship the same totems. These immortal spirits are respected by their entire tribe, but they almost seem to be engaged in a dispute for the fervor of the northern clans. The tribe is divided into the aforementioned clans, different family groups that generally fall into three distinct lifestyles depending on the territory they occupy. First are the coastal Iyudi, fishermen and travelers of the tides, who have the closest ties with the Varlen, though not always peaceful. From their floating villages, the coastal clans especially venerate Atui, the Ivory King, and Khotan, the Swift One. Then there are the snow clans, with their nomadic peoples who traverse the tundra's emptiness on large sleds. Among them, the most popular are the wild Tunit, whose face adorns the warriors, and also Okun, the crooked old man, who teaches the young to respect the tribe's tradition. Finally, the most powerful clans are the Forest Iyudi, a people who inspire terror among their own kind, as well among the Olumi and Varlen. The foresters worship a totem on the rise, Bolivka, the Laughing Wolf, as well as Ralmai, the Crowned One. The Iyudi tell stories of villages hidden in the undergrowth, where priests wearing wolf masks make pacts with the aspects of the totem of unbridled passion and war, invoking its gifts to carry out bloody and long-delayed acts of vengeance. There are many other totems, for example, Ragana, the Silent One, Maka, the Contemplator, and Kere herself, the Unknown One. It is a tradition for the pilot people to wear them as ornate masks and rarely show their faces to outsiders. In fact, the masks themselves do not unsettle the Iyudi, who see them as a calling card, a ritual, or a way of expressing an individual's lifestyle. Often, an Iyudi crafts a new mask as a part of an oath, or to signify a change of cycle in their life, but always with responsibility and solemnity, mindful of the totem's meaning. It helps, or not, that in keeping with the subterfuge for which the tribe is famous, most totems have more than one associated meaning. Unbridled passion, but also war. Oppression, but also mystery, wisdom, and protection. The Iyudi who visit the West are horrified by the state of the world after the fall of an empire they never knew, and indeed there are now many more violet-clad travelers reaching the western region. Something has disturbed Tengethar, and perhaps not only this region, but it is true that the forest howls, and the crackling of the ice can be heard. The dawn of the millennium is not peaceful for any of the tribes. Originally, the Iyudi were to be a people of Cossack horsemen inspired by the Russian Empire. I am glad I changed my mind and drew inspiration from various Inuit and Aboriginal peoples, such as the Sami, Tupik, and also the Ainu of Japan. I find the masks and art of these ancient tribes a source of boundless wonder in that small space between beauty and disquiet. Their ethnicity is inspired by certain Siberian peoples such as the Evenki, Nenets, and Yakuts, whose faces I find beautiful. Almond-shaped eyes blended with freckles and red hair, and clothing with rich embroidery and heavy furs. Another inspiration is the archetypical forest elf or gnome. While this type of elf doesn't exist as such in Warn, the Iyudi occupy that space to some extent. In my mind, the land this tribe inhabits is one from a dark traditional tale.